Who's there?
I
Rahr.
got to say, I'm a pretty big fan of Wasso now.
Very big.
I'm gonna even
Converted.
if I don't do it at the restaurant, I'm gonna ask Phil to make me some every year.
Hell yeah.
I want some of that shit. Especially,
Who's there? It's Rahr. Who's there? It's Rahr. Come fill your time. This party
you don't have our voices muted, dude.
We're not muted.
Oh.
Phil's head is on Jesse's body right there.
Definitely look a little manlier.
Who's there? It's Rahr. It's Rahr.
My whole life, I've been told I have eyebrows like a girl, so it doesn't really help.
Like a lady.
Yeah, they're very.
Oh yeah, I never noticed that until
very
you pointed it
well
out.
done.
And now I'll never unsee it.
Right.
Yeah.
That comes natural. You don't.
Yeah. No,
you
I
know.
just got nice eyebrows. Must have got it from my mother somehow. Maybe my dad. Well, my dad doesn't have eyebrows. If you actually look at him, his eyebrows are like, they're not even there. Like, take a look. A lot of people don't notice, but once you see it, you'll be like, what the hell? Like, he doesn't really have eyebrows. He also doesn't have an upper lip. When he shaves his mustache, dude, there's no lip there.
I mean, it's gotta
He
be
has to
there.
keep the mustache.
Dude, my mom told him straight up. She's like, you ever shave your mustache again, we're done. Like, I'm not dealing with this.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Fix that.
We got started late today because it's snowing out, which is my favorite phenomena of weather in like opposite day world.
Oh, you don't like snow?
I can't stand it.
Oh,
Really?
It's like I hate
Ditto.
everything
Huh.
associated with wintertime. I know I continue to live here, but there are a lot of other benefits.
You lived
Yeah,
in Minnesota.
Yeah, that sucked, dude. It sucked. When I went there, it was just like it was like a leap, you know. I just said everything in my life was kind of weird at that time, and everything that I'd kind of built my life around had just like was all gone. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go take a chance. Let's see what it's like.
Is that when you broke up with your girlfriend? Did you like leave?
Oh, that had happened. Not a great amount of time before that, but I was also like for the first time not in school.
Oh, I see.
For like I was 20 something, 25, 25, something like that. And it was the first time in my life that I wasn't in school.
At 24,
I'd moved
shit.
from place to place to place, you know. I was just like I'd moved from New York to Virginia, and then I'd moved from Virginia to Pennsylvania, and then back to Virginia, and then back to Pennsylvania, and then I was done there. So then I was coming back here, and I had to figure out what I was going to do. So that was my leap. I said, okay, this looks like a cool gig. Not only that, but I misjudged a little bit how much I was gonna like the idea that I would be able to live on campus,
right?
Right,
Yeah.
because it is fun. Like it's a blast. Because we had a building that was only faculty. It was just
nice.
And it was like we had fun. Like it was a good time, except for that you never get away from work. You never get away from your coworkers,
Right.
and your boss, if they're not a good boss, will be like, "Oh well, Phil's like on campus. Just call him."
Right.
It's like
doing
there have to be. It removes a lot of boundaries, and in some ways, it's good that it removes
Mhm.
some boundaries, but in other ways, it makes it really hard.
What got you to seek out a job in that region? Did you
I
throw a
was
dart at
looking
the
worldwide. No,
Yeah.
I just looked at every job that existed, and I saw that. I was like, okay, it's cool. It's a boarding school. It's got elite athletics. I like it had the top level youth program in the country, in the world for hockey, top 10 for soccer. One of the best for really just a unique program for figure skating. They had youth, national champions from several countries that were all training. They had about 35 figure skaters who came there specifically just to be, they could get like 4 hours of ice time every day.
Wow.
And and then they even developed those programs further while I was there. So,
cool.
but I don't know. I just thought, you know what? It sounds like they've got good people, which they did.
Mhm.
And that was what got me there. And then I got there for the interview. They flew me out. And I'm like walking around town. I'm like, I could hang out here.
Yeah,
Like it's not great, but it's kind of like a little crappy town in the middle of Minnesota. But it's, I don't know, it's kind of neat. I was walking up to check out where I was going to have to go for my interview the next day. And I walked across this bridge and I looked down and there's like deer just running up the river. And it's like, that's cool.
Yeah.
It was in the middle of the winter too. For some reason, they interviewed me in like December or January and I still took a job there. So
I think that's why they do it.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
like, okay, he knows what he's getting into, so
Yeah,
he can't
exactly.
complain.
and I
about
stuck
it.
for like 5 years. So
Well, you said it's a boarding school?
yeah.
So it's like high school level students?
Yeah, it's like 6th grade through post grad.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Most of the younger kids were day students. There was a proportion that were day students, but about 440 students total from all over the world. It was kind of neat.
Cool.
That's where I was able to learn a few different languages and stuff, like not like fluently, but a
Mhm.
couple words.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, teach me how to say something.
Pat, you want to tell us about that Russian writing?
Nee.
No.
Nee.
What was going on,
Nee.
Patrick? Were you drinking Stoli?
Nee. First of all, Ukrainian. Let's not go Russian here.
Oh, is there a difference?
There is, yeah.
Isn't it pretty close?
It's
Wait,
very-
you're
it's
in
very
with the
close.
Ukrainians? I
Very
thought you were in
close.
with the Russians.
Well, I tried telling you, but you wanted to believe that it was the Russians.
So do the Ukrainians have any intelligence on this Russian hacking situation?
I'm not at liberty to say.
So I'm you missed me with that. What was there a new allegation against the
Oh,
Russians?
you haven't read the news this week.
No,
No, I guess not.
You haven't read the news this week either.
no.
Oh boy. Well, I guess I shouldn't have brought it up, but essentially what they're saying is one of the biggest hacks against our government that's ever been perpetrated, and they're pointing toward Russia. So Pompeo pointed toward Russia, and then Trump came back and was like, yeah, it's probably China.
Oh god.
but signs are pointing toward Russia, and that they've had access to information from multiple government agencies over the course of the past 9 months. And it's like widespread, bad. And
Oh, lovely.
if people were immediately talking about that it was on the scale of an act of war.
Really?
But those were probably warmongers.
It's true. Sure.
Like, oh yes, bomb them. Like, whatever. We're probably hacking the shit out of them
Right.
too. Like, I hope.
You got to imagine.
Why does everyone always think it's Russia and China and not Canada?
Yeah, they're
They're too polite.
No. See,
no,
that-
that's a cover.
I'm telling you, Canada's the one that they do it, and they're smart enough that they pretend it's Russia or China. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, and they can come down here and
They want our maple
They
syrup.
they can get right in here and walk amongst us
Yep.
unnoticed.
Yep.
True that.
You just gotta watch out for the A.
The A's.
Yeah.
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 And the so's and you knows.
I'm telling you, Canada's.
You're describing Minnesota right
Oh,
now.
crap.
So in Minnesota, they really blend in, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You couldn't pick them up.
No. Unless they're from Newfoundland.
Yeah.
You can always pick out a Newfie.
Why?
Newfie.
What's their accent like?
It's like they kind of mumble a little
they
bit more,
bark?
and they kind of mumble a little bit more, and they're
never heard
usually saying something dumb.
Oh.
Okay.
No offense, Newfies.
Sounds like Dundee.
Do you ever watch Charlie Barron's? You ever see that guy's
Sounds familiar.
Charlie Barron's.
Facebook channel? He's from Manitowoc.
Oh,
what is it?
yeah.
Yeah,
He's got the thing called the Manitowoc Minute, and it's just hilarious. Oh my god, you got it.
it sounds funny.
Yeah.
You got it. Like
I've seen it.
he just puts together every stereotype.
Have you ever seen Clark, the Canadian hockey goalie?
No.
Everybody, if you're out there after you're done watching the show, just YouTube Clark, the Canadian hockey goalie.
I
It's
will.
funny as shit. this goalie is like, he's like, yeah, I'm I'm an athlete. In the off season, I like to do other stuff. So I decided, what the hell? I'll try baseball. He's like,
okay.
Everybody thinks, all right, goalie, what's the, obvious position? Catcher, right?
Yeah.
He said, no, I'm too athletic for that. I got too much range. I'm going to play shortstop.
Oh boy.
And then they've got him out at shortstop taking grounders and like with his blocker and
That's funny.
like stacking the pads. And it's funny as shit.
Yeah, because shortstop, they say that's the most athletic position on the baseball field.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny as shit.
Oh boy.
Well, I'll check out
So
that.
look
and
up
you
Clark,
check
the
out
Canadian
Charlie
hockey
Barron's.
goalie.
Yeah.
I'll look up Charlie Barron's.
Jamie with the Go Bills. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
When
fun.
was
Yeah.
When was the last time you guys remember? I don't think
1995.
I remember. It was. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. They won the AFC East.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was,
How
it was
cool is
fun.
that?
It's a fun game.
1995. I
What-
think I watched that at my babysitter's house.
So that's probably like Jim Kelly, right?
Yeah.
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 Oh boy.
You know
Jim
who I
Kelly.
felt bad for last night though was Denver's kicker there.
Oh my God.
How horrible. Well, he just joined the team from
Well,
the practice squad like yesterday, right?
On one hand, you feel bad for him. On the other hand, he was fortunate not to have lost them that game.
You couldn't lose that
That's
game.
true. That's true.
Right.
It was
So-
a nice
so when-
point spread.
It was
When
way
that
too-
when I don't know any of the players' names because I don't really watch football, but when the one guy was trying to like receive the punt and he was gonna run it back, whatever, and it just bounced off his fucking numbers.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I hope this isn't a close game. And then the guy missed the field goal, and I was like, oh man, I hope this isn't a close game. And then it wasn't.
Yeah.
So
Oh, God.
so nobody had to feel like they ruined it.
Yeah. So yeah, good for the Bills though. Really. I mean, I don't really follow football, and so I'm not gonna be one to like jump on the bandwagon as soon as they start doing well. But good for them. 11-3 now their record. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
11-3.
They're good, man.
All right, let's take it to the shop. Take it to the ship.
So they went to the Super Bowl one time and lost? I
4
believe.
in a row.
Oh, they went 4 in a row. and
4
lost?
in a row.
I guess I don't.
They're
know my
the
Bills
only
history.
football team that I know of, that, unless there's been one since, that went to the Super Bowl 4 times in a row, but they lost all of them.
Really?
Yeah,
Good
4
finish.
times in a row.
4 in a row.
I wonder
And
what-
I watched all of them as a child.
What years were those?
It was like 92 through 96 or something.
Really? Wow. Holy shit. Jeez.
Like the whole mid 90s was, must have been 91 and 95 maybe.
So I
The
was
whole
yeah,
mid
I don't
90s was just
I was
them
born in
being
91,
dominant until
so-
they got to the final game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't have any desire to watch back then, so I wouldn't remember.
The first Super Bowl I can even remember was like the Ravens and the Giants. That was like early 2000s.
Did you
Early
see
2000s. Good guy.
Must have
The,
been
2000
probably.
there was like a giant mob of Bills Mafia outside the airport waiting for them when they got home?
I
I
don't
did.
doubt it.
Yeah. They
That's
called
cool.
they called it a super spreader event.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Mm.
probably, yeah. It's in Western New York, so of
Right.
course they're going to call it that.
Yeah.
I just love how no, you know what? Let's not go there. Let's
Okay.
have a good day.
Let's
Yeah.
have a good
Yeah,
day.
we're not gonna talk about how protests aren't super spreader events, but
Right.
gathering for the Buffalo Bills are. So we'll stop. Anyways.
Protests are interesting, though. Have you heard of the Mohawk Valley theory or the Mohawk Valley
You've lost me on this
method?
one too. No.
Is so this is how the news media manipulates the news regarding protesters.
Okay.
So it started way back in like the mid 30s, I want to say, with okay, it's not. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. We're good. I'm leaning down too much. Sorry, everybody.
There you go.
All right, we're good.
Essentially, so it started back in the 30s with the like once they got unions started to have power, and the corporations were trying to find a way to kind of silence the protests.
Yep.
Obviously. So they came up with a strategy where instead of focusing on the issues that the protesters were actually protesting for, they associated them with a cause. So instead of saying, okay, well, they just literally are working 16 hours a day and they want to work like they want to be able to sleep at night and also have food to eat, whatever, they'd say, oh, well, them protesting is causing this manufacturing industry to shut down, and we need that manufacturing industry, therefore they're anti-American.
Oh, really? Okay.
And
Didn't
so
know
they'd
that.
instead of like saying, oh, well, here are the 5 things that they're asking for, they say, oh, they're just trying to, they hate America. And that's like, if you watch the news, that's seems like they're still doing that today. They take every, and unfortunately, I think that a lot of the times the protesters have kind of gotten used to that, to the point where they do it too. They're like, oh, we just want Black lives to matter. It's like, okay, we get that, but like, are there some specific changes that you want?
Right.
That
Right.
like they've gotten past even talking about specific changes in some ways, because they've gotten used to just being labeled, so they take it. They shouldn't, because I think they'd be a lot more effective if they could get their specific issues out.
That's something I see brought up on my timeline on Facebook all the time, is the typical, well, where are the protests now? What do you think? Where are all the protests now?
Which protests?
All the
talking about
all the marches for Black Lives Matter and for defunding the police and all that
They
stuff.
won, remember?
So do you think that they're done? There's no more to be
They
had?
were Biden rallies.
Is that what they really, you think they were Biden rallies? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you looked the day after, we showed it last week, the day after the election, Black Lives Matter said, we did it. And like, if that was what they were trying to do, if they were trying to get Trump out, and they were, that's the thing, they were trying to get Trump out, and they did.
Yeah.
But that's not what they said they were doing.
No, it was supposed to, they wanted Black lives to matter. So
Yeah.
do they matter more under Joe Biden?
Right. So they put in, 2 politicians who've been taking away Black lives for decades.
One that's done it way more than anyone else, and at a higher rate. The highest conviction rate of African American men ever in the state of California,
I will say,
is under Kamala Harris. So just so everyone knows.
I think, I don't know, and you guys can say what you think, but I think that Joe Biden is responsible for more Black people being in jail than Kamala Harris is.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying state of California.
She put them in there directly.
Yeah.
But on a federal level, he's been making laws that are discriminatory toward African Americans. And when I say discriminatory, what I mean is that those laws are enforced disproportionately against African Americans, and they also target things that African Americans do. And really, let's get past the racial issue and call it what it really is. It's the poors. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
It's the
really
poors
who doesn't have money.
It's not. It's not about if you're Black or you're white. It's about if you have money or not.
The have-nots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So so yeah, that's my thought on
on
it.
that.
Is that he's made a lot of laws that crush poor people.
I just don't understand why Trump got and again, he's gone. No one, I mean, it's over, right? You can say, but and I heard you ask people before, because we would be somewhere and they would say, well, Trump's racist. And you'd be like, why?
Right.
What has he said that's racist? And they'd be like, well, he said he doesn't want Mexicans jumping the border. And you're like, okay, something. I don't remember. But what did he say racist about African Americans that everyone is talking about? And everyone would be like, well, he's racist. You remember? Like, it's
Obviously.
just like, yeah, okay.
Can't you tell?
Yeah. No, we can't. I don't see it. Maybe because some of his, I mean, he is pretty vulgar, and he's not the best person to rally around, and he's not the leader you really want. But at the same time, don't label someone racist without some solid cause here.
He's not a good example for how a person should act,
right,
or talk.
Did you think he was racist, Newby?
I can't, just like you guys right now, I can't say, hey, well, here's a one time where he said something about this type of
Now here, so
I
here's
never really heard anything.
this is, I mean, this is very telling, right? Because if there's somebody who deserves to be labeled for anything, or if there's anything that deserves to be labeled, it doesn't even have to be a person. But if there's something or someone who deserves a label, you might have a really hard time thinking of 10 examples of things that they did wrong.
Mhm.
But it should be pretty easy to come up with one or two.
Right. That's fair. Yep.
And I can't come up with one or two.
Yeah.
I can come up with more than one or two I can come up with at least one or two from Biden. I can't come up with any for Trump.
Yeah.
And you should be able to, I mean, I'm not saying he's a good person.
No.
I don't
Right.
think he is.
No one's saying that.
Right.
Right.
But I don't think that he's, I think his policies are certainly not racist. In as much as
he's
any more than any other policies are racist, because and when I say racist, I mean against the poors, not against the blacks.
there you go. Because I was gonna say, when it comes to like
Classism.
economically, like money wise, yeah, he's racist against poor people. He is, because there's lots of times where he said, well, we don't want these impoverished people living in upper class neighborhoods and destroying them. You know, he never said, and then all of a sudden, if you say people are poor, that means they're a different race in other people's eyes. And it's like,
and there is some truth to that.
but
that
not
black
all.
people are poor and minorities in general are poor at a higher rate. And so a way to have laws that keep black people out of your neighborhood or whatever, without saying black people can't live in our neighborhood, is to say poor people can't live in our neighborhood.
Right.
So it groups in more people, but it can still have the desired effect and then some.
But are you guys, so
I'm not saying that that's their motivation
No.
for it, but that's the impact of it.
I always wonder, do you want government housing near your house? Like, does it matter to you? Does it matter to you that you're in a nice neighborhood, you worked your ass off to get everything you got?
I don't want any housing near my house.
There you go.
But would you have a problem with, like, you know, some subsidized housing complex being just thrown up right in front of your house?
It probably is.
We just had one
Like,
up by
on
the
my
bowling alley.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
My street, there's probably several people who are getting assistance of
Right,
some
right.
sort.
I'm saying a complex where you're bringing in, like, let's say, I don't know how many buildings were in that. How many places are there staying that one near the bowling alley?
Oh, gee,
The new one?
Yeah.
30, 40,
30?
I don't know. I can't say
So
that.
I mean,
I've never been inside.
that's a lot more than just a couple houses here and there. And myself, maybe I'm a bad person, but you know, when you're buying a neighborhood and you're talking about property value and you're talking about you being in a place where you want things to get better, subsidized housing and putting in government housing in these neighborhoods are probably not the greatest thing, I would say. I don't know. I'm not saying they don't deserve anywhere to live or they shouldn't have government subsidized housing, but you can kind of see why some people are against it.
Yeah.
You change.
So what's the solution?
No clue. And that's my thing. But that was one thing Trump said. That was one thing he was against, was subsidized housing, like in certain areas. And
Right.
I didn't know a solution. That's why I'm asking you, like, what do you think? You just do it? Like, you deal with it and it happens? It wouldn't bother you?
I'm not. I think that there are some other solutions besides actually using taxpayer money to subsidize housing. Although I'd be much happier with the current tax money they're taking out of me. Like, I'd rather them take less and to find other solutions. And I think that other solutions would be found if we stopped subsidizing housing. We wouldn't just let people, we wouldn't let everybody be on the street, although
Right. There has to be
we
some-
already have people on the street.
Right.
But because it's already happening. But what would I do? I think that like I said, with the money that they're already getting, with the funding that they're already using, make those houses a little bit nicer. The houses that are subsidized housing, use individual houses as much as you can. Put them in nice neighborhoods. Put them everywhere. Or don't segregate them, don't put them in certain districts. And I think that it would be the best possible thing for helping get those people out of there because if you live in a crap hole,
Mm-hmm.
it takes away your desire to improve in some ways. Like in some ways you're like, man, I wish I could get out of here. But in other ways you lose something and you don't
broken
have
windows
that
theory.
like, yes, exactly. So but you don't have the neighbor next door that you're like, man, I wish I had what he has.
Mhm.
You've got the neighbor next door that's smoking crack. And
Right.
it's like,
Yep.
I don't want my next door neighbor to be smoking crack next to my house.
Right.
But at the same time, if I'm not smoking crack and nobody else is smoking crack, maybe they'll stop smoking crack. I don't know. Maybe they won't.
Yeah. I just know.
But I think it can only help.
Personally, I wouldn't want to live near subsidized house, and that's just coming from a mother who grew up in Geneva on the poor side and grew up near it, and all the things she experienced and things that she wouldn't have experienced if they grew up away from it. It was it's a little rough there.
So that's
yeah.
so you've got a point though, and I think that's part of the problem. And I think that the solution I just said would solve it a lot. Is she grew up in that area, surrounded by a bunch of other subsidized housing.
No, because at the same time in Geneva, the person 2 doors down is living in a mansion house. I mean, you've seen Geneva.
Right. Yeah, but
it's so the economy of it is everywhere. There's big houses, there's poor, and they're all like they can be next to each other.
Yeah.
And she grew up that way. There was all kinds. Like 3 doors down, the person had an in-ground swimming pool. She could go there. But 5 houses down, there's a housing complex where shit's going on that is just out of control. So it's like one of those things. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't seem safe. It doesn't. And I'm not saying all people in the complexes are bad, but a lot of times people on subsidized housing, not all, but come from, more drug use, more violent crime,
sure,
more sexual crimes.
That's how they get there. If you're a drug addict, and you probably have more exposure to, you both probably have more exposure to this than I do, because I've not been around it very much. But how do you have a steady income? How do you pay your bills every month? With you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like how do you function on on what we would consider a normal level in society?
Right.
How do you do that?
You don't. A
Some-
lot of
I mean,
them don't.
Depending on
You
your level
can't.
of addiction, some people are functioning addicts,
Right.
holding down a job and somehow being totally strung out at the same time.
Sure.
I think most heavy addicts can't sustain that, So what are those people doing? They get a lot of public assistance, right? They
Right.
must.
Yeah. That's why when I thought in my head what subsidized housing, because I don't know if you remember, Trump got destroyed for it, and that's why he was racist. I don't know. That was the big
Well,
thing.
and partly because he was trying to prevent it from being in. That was the one thing they could pick on him for, because of his involvement in real estate.
Right. Yeah, he was trying to keep it out of the nicer areas, more
Right.
or less. And I thought, and Phil's gonna hate this idea, because guess what it does? It adds more government, and it's not good. Is I would like to see, to get these programs, monthly drug checks, drug screenings. I'd like to have more eyes in the home, more DSS looking at children, CPS, whatever you need, because it's the only way to keep these places safe and the people living in them.
Do you have any examples of that working?
No, because it doesn't happen, because our government funding on those programs are
Right.
gone.
I think part of the
And
reason
no
for
one
that
will do drug
is
screening
because it doesn't work.
No one. It's never been done. Drug screening to get government funding has never been done. To get food stamps, to get welfare checks, you don't need to have a drug panel. You don't need to be drug screened. You just get it. That's
Yeah.
why it's never been done, because it's never happened, and it should. I don't think we should give funding to people who are drug addicts. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
do.
mean,
Yeah,
maybe.
makes
Maybe
sense.
some people will think so. I would say, honestly, I think they don't do it because it's expensive.
you rather them come rob you?
Sure, yeah, I got lots of guns. Yeah, I would love that. I've actually hoped. Sometimes I lay in bed and I'm like, let it be the day, but it's never happened. So, Phil, I've
You
been
gotta be
ready for this. I've been training my whole life for that situation.
You're
Come
a
on.
self-starter. You got to make it happen.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, just opinions like this really do it for you. So, I'm not afraid. Anyone who's afraid is not me. That's for sure. So,
You're afraid you ain't me.
because there's a reason I train in shooting guns, and my house is extra safe because I'm ready for it. So, but at the end of the day, if your comeback is, well, would you rather them rob you? That's pretty sad.
Well,
That's
here's
a
the thing.
sad point,
They're-
and that should not be the people we're giving money
Jesse,
to. Yeah.
they're gonna get money.
Well, or
How are they gonna get money?
go to prison if they do bad things like they should.
We can't sustain a growing
Well, I'm
prison population.
Yeah, we should have another 2 million people in prison.
more jobs. Yeah.
Well,
Prison is a jobs program after all.
Totally, especially
More
the private
jobs.
ones.
Let's just admit that the incarceration leads to government jobs. That's how it works.
It's true.
Yeah.
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 So that's why it's at such a
I don't
high
know why I'm
number.
having such difficulty with this.
I don't know either.
Putting it on your lap, I'm a little nervous now. But anyway,
Yeah, so that's my whole thing. I don't think he was racist. I think there's a lot of things there that need to be changed. I would really, my first big change I'd like to see people getting government assistance to be drug screened. But then you come back to the problem where if they have children, the children deserve to eat and live and to be happy. So
yeah,
it's one of those
Yeah.
where it's a double-edged sword like anything else. Like, yeah, you want one thing, but at the same time, there's other lives at stake in a lot of these
Right.
cases. So,
Yeah.
the children, save the children.
Do it for the kids.
kids, man.
That's
For the
true.
How can I
kids.
reach these kids?
Oh, Cartman.
You got it.
Yeah. We can get off that subject.
So,
I just
Newby, what's
wonder.
new with you?
Jeez, I don't know. Not
Been busy with the hack.
Not a heck of busy with the hack talk. Lots of hacking, lots of contacting the Russians and trying to annex Crimea personally and privately. Yeah.
Do you know? Okay, so explain to us because this has been a big controversy lately. Let's talk about more controversy.
Cool.
Do you know where the word vaccinate came from?
Nope.
Okay, so back in the day, the first vaccine, you know what that was, right?
Stand by. Hint.
Hint. It was in France that they came up with the vaccine.
Penicillin.
Well, that's an antibiotic.
That's an antibiotic. Damn. No, I don't know.
So they figured out that milkmaids didn't get smallpox. Back in the day, they figured out that milkmaids didn't get smallpox, and it's because they'd had cowpox.
Oh.
So they'd get cowpox,
Okay.
and then they'd be immune to smallpox.
What's a cowpox?
So cowpox is like a
Pox on a cow.
like a lower form of smallpox. It'd cause like blisters full of pus and stuff, but it wouldn't cause death or scarring. It was like really mild, but related to smallpox.
And what the hell's a milkmaid? Or are you talking? They milk.
They're
cows?
milking the cows.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're milking the cows.
Legit. Okay.
They get the cowpox, and then they're like, "Yeah, well, I'm not going to get all scarred up from smallpox because I've already had cowpox." And so one scientist was like, "Huh, that's kind of interesting." So he took. This is really fucked up. This could never happen today. But what he did is he took one of the blisters on one of the milkmaid's hands that had the pus in it,
Mhm.
and he took the pus and he scraped it into the skin on the arm of this little 8-year-old boy. and then like 6 weeks later, he found somebody that had smallpox, and he smeared some smallpox on the little 8-year-old boy.
There you go.
And the boy didn't get the smallpox. He couldn't give the kid smallpox.
You got to be shitting me. That's
Yeah.
insane.
So that's how smallpox, that's why we don't have smallpox today, is because they came up with this inoculation And actually, they would inoculate people with actual smallpox for a long time, but then they finally got past that in about like the 1840s.
How do you get that 8-year-old kid to do that? Do you think
tell him you're
you
gonna do
willingly
it.
were you like
Back then, they
Because he
Hey,
was a peasant, and he
right.
just say, "I'm a
hey, test subject.
I own land and you don't, so you have to do this."
what year was that?
It was like in the early 1800s,
Was it? Okay.
like 1802 or something, maybe even late 17, but I think early 18.
They developed a vaccine with 100% efficacy with a trial of 1 subject.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Well, I don't know if it's 100%, but it's pretty good. So,
well, in that trial, it was
but
100%
so-
effective.
so you know any Latin?
No, not many more
just-
than you would get in
Only Ukrainian.
Habeas corpus.
habeas corpus.
You know,
You took criminal
you know how to
justice.
say
damn it.
cow?
You know how that is.
Cow.
in like, I don't know, Spanish. You know how to say
Oh, yeah, vaca.
Vaca,
Yeah,
right?
there you go.
So
Oh, there you go.
vaccine,
Yeah.
or something like that. Vaccine, all that came from the Latin name for cowpox.
There you go. Okay.
So,
Hmm.
that's a little bit of history on vaccines for everybody.
Wow. Nice.
Kind of
That's
more
cool.
interesting than you think it's going to
yeah,
be, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's very cool.
I feel bad for the 8-year-old kid still.
Yeah, no, like
Well.
they didn't have rights,
Right.
Yeah.
and they didn't have these rules that we have now, that like you have to have informed consent of a parent.
Right.
And
Yeah,
like
lots
this has been the root of a lot of controversy throughout history, and
Yeah.
it's only been recently that we've actually had very many rights for the subjects of these trials.
So, I mean, everyone's learned about syphilis trial. I mean,
Yeah,
that
The
is
Tuskegee
that is the
experiment is
scariest
it's messed up.
thing I've ever heard in my life.
And you want to know the scarier part?
Whoa.
So this is where they would take people, African Americans who had syphilis, and they would also take some who didn't have it, and they'd give it to them. And then they said that they were giving them treatment, but they weren't.
Yeah.
They were getting no treatment for it, and some of them actually were getting given the disease, and then they were studying them. And the really messed up part about it is that it didn't end all that long ago.
Right. And the way that you die from syphilis is fucked. It's not good.
It's gonna attack your brain and make you slowly go crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
Insane. And actually, I remember learning in high school, it's one of the only things I took back from the Lewis and Clark expedition, is that a majority of the men on that died from syphilis. Did you know that?
No.
That more of them died from syphilis than anything
They all
else.
get it from Sacagawea or what?
They got it from
Sack of something.
sleeping with the Native Americans.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Sack of syphilis.
And especially there was an African American guy with him, and the Native Americans thought he was cool as hell. You know, because they've never,
Well, it probably was.
they've never
Yeah.
seen a guy with
Exactly.
with skin like that.
Was it
so
Cleavon Little?
I don't know what his name was.
You know who Cleavon Little
No.
is? You ever see Blazing Saddles?
Oh,
Yeah,
He's
no,
the sheriff.
no, I don't. I can't remember his name, but I just remember like they're learning about it in school, and they're like that the Native American ladies and men like took a liking to him because they're like, whoa, he looks cool. Like
Yeah.
we want that in our blood.
Yeah.
So everywhere they went, like the women were sleeping with this guy. They're like, hey, like, come on, let's bring this in. And
That's awesome.
yeah,
all right.
cool. So yeah, he had a good time exploring North America. I'm sure that guy did until he died of syphilis. But it was good for a while. I'm sure. Yeah, crazy story. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I hadn't heard that.
that syphilis was here already.
Mm.
I don't know if it was in Europe or not. I can't remember. But I know it was definitely here. So
Huh. Yeah, didn't they claim like the white Europeans brought all that stuff over?
yeah, a lot of the stuff they brought over, like smallpox and whooping cough and all the other bullshit they had. Yeah.
What about whoopee cushions?
No, I don't think so.
Right.
Maybe.
I think that was uniquely American.
Yeah. I'm not sure on that, Newby. I'll
Okay.
have to do some research if that was around. Yeah.
Jamie, can you look that up? Let us know where
Whoopee cushion.
whoopee cushions originated.
Sorry. Sometimes I get whooping cough and whoopee,
And whoopee
cushions
cushion. It all
confused.
makes sense. Yeah.
I had pertussis once. It wasn't fun.
So it being okay, so this is a huge topic, and actually we might make some people upset, which gives us views.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I like it.
Why?
Anti vaxing.
Well,
How many people, and I don't want to tear it up too hard because we've had guests on here that are anti-vaxxers, and we've had, people that
I don't
we
think-
see.
we've had guests on here who don't think vaccines should be mandatory.
Sure, yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're a lot of them aren't going to give their children this new vaccine or themselves. What do you guys think?
I'm gonna get it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll probably get it. I know we Finger Lakes Regional EMS providers got a letter from regional medical directors recently saying that we've been lowered in the list to receive vaccines. So I'll still be waiting. But
Yeah, it's not like we're the highest
Right.
positivity rate
um,
region right now.
right, exactly.
Are they doing it
We-
by? Are they bringing the vaccine by region or by county? Do you know?
I think it's
Because Yates is
region.
actually pretty low.
I'm sure. Well, you mean our
The county.
our
Yates,
positivity rate?
Yates County's low. The problem is that's killing us. Is
Rochester.
Monroe County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's
Yeah.
another one. I
Yeah,
can't
they're
remember
part
the
of Finger
name.
Lakes region, so they definitely drive
And
us
then
up.
Ontario's up there, and there's our county's like beep. The
Yeah.
only
Yeah,
problem is
yeah.
we only have 2 beds, so it looks like we're maxed out on beds
right,
because we only
right.
have 2 beds in Penn.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're at so we're
Max
Jesus.
capacity.
We're max capacity in the
So if
county.
we have-
so
man.
not good.
But,
Yeah, and I didn't know that until I think Mary told me that Soldiers and Sailors only has 2 ventilators and 2 beds. So it's
Yeah.
like
That sounds accurate.
That
yeah.
seems
So you're-
like, why would they have more?
because
Right.
Elmira, which has one of the largest prisons, Arnett Hospital
Mhm.
in the state, only has I think she said 6 or 8 beds and ventilators. And think
Wow.
about how big Elmira is. Over 100,000 people.
6 ICU beds. Oh.
Yeah.
It seems like they're using ventilators a lot less frequently now, though.
They're
Yeah, didn't they say they were
So it's not as
actually
much of a-
causing problems?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
okay.
really trying to keep off of them as long as possible into the illness. The rate of those who are able to come off the ventilator successfully is pretty low.
Yeah.
And then I asked Mary, how did people used to do oxygen back in the day before you could force it? She's saying there was a hand pump. There was a pump. Is that true?
Yeah, we
Is
still have those.
really?
Yeah, he has
Talking-
one
yeah.
probably in his car.
Yeah, you're talking about a
An
bag,
ambu bag.
yeah, an ambu.
I don't know. I was like, well, the people they didn't
Yeah.
have anything. No, they had to
Yeah.
squeeze a freaking bag.
Manual ventilation.
Can
Yeah.
you imagine?
Yeah, I've done it.
How long did they have to do this for people? Do you think?
I don't know.
What do you
probably
mean?
the people
What's-
if they were doing it long term, people would probably just die.
Right. But I mean, I'm sure at some point they probably tried to go for a long time on some of these people to keep them
Yeah,
going
perhaps. Yeah.
with their hand.
It's more of a life saving device than it is a long
long-term care.
term
Intervention.
option.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's just called a bag valve mask or BVM. Look it up.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So the vaccine. In my family, we were kind of like, no, we're not going to do that. And then my mother, the last week, she's like, yeah, changed my mind.
Yeah, that is.
So-
Yeah, it's weird.
And you can do that with intubation as well.
Yeah, you just pop that mask off and stick it right on the tube.
I want to get some King Airways.
Yes,
They would be optimal for lacrosse.
they would be optimal for any field attempt at an airway intervention requiring.
Yeah.
I think there's talks of phasing out field endotracheal intubation.
Should be.
Um,
Just use Kings.
I like both you guys.
The best thing with the King Airway. So the King Airway is essentially it's like a tube,
it's a supraglottic device.
and it isn't. We have to use words that other people understand. So it's like a tube, and then it also has like a little balloon on the end of it. So you put the tube down in, and then you fill up the little thing, and then that blocks off the rest of the airway.
But it's
and,
kind
and it holds it in there,
and
and then
it's
you can ventilate through that.
foolproof because within reason, you seal it off, and there's 2 tubes inside, and if one of them isn't the one for the lungs, then the other one is, and you ventilate out of that one.
Interesting.
Whereas endotracheal intubation, you have to get down with a scope and open the airway and
Look
put the
in
tube
there.
right in the correct place, and it's the field success rate is not good.
Well, I was gonna tell you, I love both you guys. You guys are almost like brothers. But if I have to BVM you guys, I'm telling you, I think I suffer from early carpal tunnel, and I probably only got 2 hours. In my
That's a
hands.
long time.
So
The
that's-
trick is
Nobody does.
the trick is you
that's
don't
all.
use
That's all I'm giving you guys.
the trick is you don't use your hand strength.
Uh-huh.
If you got to do this for longer than like a minute, and
Oh Jesus! So a minute's a long time. Oh, you guys.
so
are
like you
screwed
can
then.
do it. You can do it
Might get
even with
30.
one hand, right? So you can have
Against your
because
thigh.
you might have one hand actually sealing
Yep.
if you don't have an airway.
Yeah.
If you're just using a mask, you've got one hand sealing it to their face, and then with the other one you're pushing it against your leg.
Yeah.
So you
Really?
can use your whole arm. You don't
Holy
have
shit.
to just use your hand.
Yeah.
Makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. So
on you.
it sounds like you guys only have about a half hour now. I was giving myself 2 hours. I didn't know I had to use my other hand. I was gonna switch.
Well, I hope it
through.
wouldn't be 2 hours of.
You can
CPR.
switch because the thing rotates.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can
I
switch.
hope it's not 2 hours of CPR.
And if you've got a
before you get
second
us to-
person, you can have one person holding it on and the other person pumping it. You can
Right.
have a third person
Yeah,
doing
I
chest
just-
compressions.
I know Mary, and she'll be busy. She'll have something to do, so it's probably just
Yeah,
gonna be me.
you'll
there.
have to run.
Yeah.
I gotta go. It's
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. It took a fun turn.
so
wait,
vaccines.
yeah, honestly,
Vaccines.
I want what
So
you guys think.
so here's so
Oh,
I've seen a lot of people in the past week. I heard a lot of people in the past several months kind of building up that when the vaccine came out, they were gonna find some holes to poke in it. Like, oh, we can't have it because it was too fast. We can't have it because it's fake. We can't have like different reasons why it was a scam.
And no one, we're not picking on anyone either. You're just
People.
I don't think you are. You're just
Nobody's
stating-
no.
okay.
Like this has been coming from the media in certain areas. It's been coming from social media, certainly, and in some ways even from some politicians.
People need to understand when they're worried about the speed with which the vaccine was put to market, the reasons why it was fast. I mean, it really wasn't developed in 9 months. We've been doing human coronavirus research for over 2 decades.
Right.
And when the pandemic hit,
but not
it really
COVID-19
Well,
specifically.
but
it really kicked up after SARS.
Right. Okay.
you know why it was important that they already had human coronavirus research done is because the target is the spike protein.
Right.
And they already knew how to slice RNA material to trigger your toxo cells to target the spike protein and kill the virus. When the pandemic hit, we suddenly had the attention of the world, and we were able to put every single resource, every doctor, researcher, company, money into the research.
And how
to
much
do
money
this.
did Bill Gates put into it? Something crazy, right?
I don't know.
It was like,
Operation Warp Speed put a lot more into it.
Yeah.
oh, did it? Yeah, because I know Gates like funded a lot of it, and he was like big time.
And the
threw a
other
lot of
thing,
money.
if people are thinking about virus vaccines in a traditional sense, they're thinking of like attenuated virus vaccines or
So what's
or
that
dead
mean?
virus, where they take actual virus that they're targeting, inactivate it with some kind of toxin, develop a vaccine out of that, and inject it into you so your body can become familiar with it.
Sorry, Phil, I'm
This
not
is-
asking the question. I'm well informed by Mary now because I picked her brain hard on
Yeah.
this. So
I just want to make sure
I'm
that
pretty informed on words of this knowledge now.
I just want to make
So-
sure our listeners know
I see.
what like
Yeah.
attenuated means
Sure.
and things like
Lowered-
that.
So an attenuated virus vaccine would be where the virus is not actually dead, but they've gone through a process to weaken it.
Right.
And then there's a dead virus vaccine where they introduce a toxin to kill the vaccine, but the genetic material is still there.
So that's like almost, or that's essentially all the vaccines that we've had and
Yes.
used up to this point.
Yes, because the Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine is the first messenger RNA vaccine ever approved for human use. So
Right.
and that's another reason why it was developed so expeditiously, is because it's easier and faster to do mRNA vaccines.
Right.
And they're
the
getting a
virus.
Pfizer in Monroe County right now.
Yeah.
I've seen it. A lot of my friends.
Like a plant,
The
a lab.
no,
just-
the
they're receiving
hospital.
Oh, they're
vaccine.
getting that vaccine.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
the
yes.
U of R, or not U of R. Yeah, all the U of R hospitals, Strong and all them. They all got it. They all the nurses have pretty much taken the Pfizer.
I think we're going to be getting Moderna down here because I don't think that
I
we
don't like-
probably have the facilities for Pfizer.
Why?
If
why
I
do
get it,
you
I
say
won't take
that?
Moderna.
Why not?
Moderna has only been a pharmaceutical company for 10 years. They have never successfully brought a vaccine to a phase 3 trial.
Yeah.
And they have never gotten any FDA approval, and they've never brought any drug to market in their history.
Jesus, Newby,
Well,
don't do this. To
let
me.
me.
Come on.
Let me go back at you though on that one a
Okay.
little
Trying
bit.
to scare me.
As much as you're right,
As much as you're right.
well, you're right about that, but their only focus has been on mRNA based vaccines.
Yes, that's why they're called
And
Moderna. That's
exactly.
It stands for modified RNA.
Exactly. So the fact that we've not had an mRNA based vaccine, yeah, of course. So Pfizer, their focus for the past 9 months has maybe been partially on this. Like what percentage of their capacity do you think has been on this even?
I don't know.
It can't even be that high. It has to be like maybe 20% tops.
Sure.
Which is huge because that's a massive corporation.
Pfizer is a lot bigger than Moderna. You're saying?
Oh yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
partnered with the big Asian outfit there, BioNTech, who's also huge.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they've created things like Viagra and like they're a huge corporation.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
So yeah, Moderna hasn't had one to market yet, but we've only just recently been more open to the idea of having RNA-based vaccines.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and how like 10 years, right? Like
Right.
how long do you want them to take to develop the
Right.
first mRNA-based
Yeah.
vaccine and
The oth-
develop the technology to go with it?
The other benefit, and perhaps the math isn't that significant, but they both show 95% efficacy in their trial groups based on their numbers. The Moderna trial was 30,000. Pfizer was 44,000. So they have the same efficacy with a much larger test group.
But
right. 50%.
why do we have separate vaccines?
So the Moderna is also an mRNA vaccine, but they use a different delivery method, and they use a different method. They use like a different portion of the genetic material.
Why not just all the same? Is there a reason why we
There's
have
a
two
few.
separate companies?
There's a few
Yeah.
reasons. One is that every company, if you don't have 500 companies trying to figure out the solution to this, or 20 companies that are the size of 500 companies working on this and trying like a million different possibilities, you're never going to get to the answer. You have to have a lot of people working on it from different angles.
Well,
And
I knew
that's
that.
every issue. And you knew that,
Yeah.
but that's like number one. Yes. So then when you get there and you find that, oh, wow, we actually have multiple ones that are effective, then we're going to use them because Moderna has the capacity to produce their vaccine. Pfizer, BioNTech has the capacity to produce theirs. We're getting 100 million from Pfizer. We're getting 200 million doses from Moderna. And that's half of what we need to vaccinate the United States.
Right.
How many people is there to vaccinate?
Well, 70%. So what's
70%
our-
of 330 million?
Wait, we went down?
What do you mean we went down?
I thought we were at 360 some million people.
Are we up another? I don't know. Last I knew it was 330. But so what? That makes it like we'd need 220 million. So 440 million doses.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Well, except the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, when that comes out, I've heard that that's only a single dose.
Really
That there's no booster needed for that one.
interesting.
But
is that an
the
mRNA
reason-
as well? Are they working?
I believe it is. I think they all are. The reason that I think that we're going to have Moderna here, and that if you want to get Pfizer, you're going to have to go to Rochester.
No, you're on, Phil. 331 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, oh shit. Hold on a second.
For some reason, I thought we were up to like 360 million people. Oh, I'm off.
I don't know.
I didn't plug in the computer today, and I don't want us to.
Yeah, I don't want to
So,
zonk out on you here.
give me 1 second.
But yeah, so I can't remember if you said whether you had a decision whether or not to get it personally.
So living with an RN if you're going to tell somebody like that you're not going to have a vaccine, it'll probably destroy you. So, no, but that has nothing to do with it. No, I plan like I hello.
Can you hear us?
So why is the distillery closed?
We're on.
All right. Okay. Bye.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Sorry, guys. Hopefully we didn't lose too many of you. A little technical difficulty of between my ears of not plugging in my technology today. So
The government shut us down because they didn't want Putin to get the vaccine. So everyone knows that's what it was.
I believe
Putin's
that that might be a little bit off, but not
No.
far. So anyway, so
Big listener.
let me finish why we're gonna have Moderna.
Okay.
And maybe AstraZeneca or others.
AstraZeneca's coming.
But we're not going to have Pfizer, I think. And I don't know. This is not based on any inside information, but I doubt that we have the capacity to properly store the Pfizer vaccine because it has to be stored at super cold.
-70 Celsius.
Yeah. So it's like dry ice is flying off the shelves. But the cases I've heard are about the size of a pizza box. So
Yep.
even if you have
And several
super
layers,
cold
several
storage,
tiers.
it's unlikely that we would have super cold storage of that size. So I don't think that we will have Pfizer available in Yates County.
Once it is opened and kept in a refrigerator, it expires in 5 days.
What
Yeah.
if people at businesses stepped up and let them store them in their cooling
No,
and they're
60
like,
degrees Celsius below zero.
oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not going to get away with using a beer cooler to do this. You need like
It's
the-
specialized.
cold,
Moderna,
yeah.
the Moderna vaccine is held right around 32, 34 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
So.
oh,
If you put
that's
that,
not, that's not
that can
tough
go
to
in a
do.
household freezer.
Yeah.
Like
okay.
a regular freezer will work fine
Yeah.
for Moderna.
So to do
that's
the-
why I think we'll have Moderna.
to do the Pfizer, what is it that you need to do? Like, what are they putting them in?
What do you mean?
Like, what are they storing them in?
They've just got specialized cooling units that
Do they?
that
Oh.
like that's their only thing is super cold storage.
I think they were partnering with King or whatever that refrigerated carrier company is. That you see the refrigerator.
Viking?
No, it's King something. You see these big tractor trailers with the enormous cooling unit on it. I think
I
it's
don't know.
King something, and I heard that they were partnering with them for some logistics and
Cool.
getting it around.
I
Interesting.
know liquid nitrogen. We used to have a little bit of access to liquid nitrogen, and they would store it in like a pressurized vacuum canister,
Mm.
and they could store it for quite some time. So I think it just depends on what you've got. Of course, liquid nitrogen is really dangerous.
Yeah,
Why so cold?
that I don't know.
I think to keep it stable
So here's my guess.
so it doesn't degrade the RNA because
portion-
RNA is less stable than DNA.
And the portion of RNA that is suspended in the vaccine is housed safely in a lipid. So that's a molecule of fat. And so perhaps the extreme cold temperature helps keep that stable.
And RNA, so DNA, like the reason that they're always finding DNA and like swabbing for it, whatever, or drilling it out of Neanderthals and stuff like that is because it's pretty stable. But RNA has much lower stability because it doesn't need to be that stable because it's always got the DNA. So the way it works, right, when you want to make a protein, i.e. spike protein or otherwise, basically your DNA kind of separates, and it's 2 strands, so the strands separate a little bit, and the RNA comes in and it's like boom, 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 and it makes the reverse copy of it, and then it goes over to your ribosomes and it says, okay, let's bring in some amino acids, and then it's like, okay, boom, 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 and it links all those together. And so that's why the mRNA will work, is you get a little bit of that mRNA, goes into your cells, they shoot it into your arm, goes into your cells, and then your cells make what the lab would be making,
Right.
They make
Yep.
that spike protein, and then your body's like, oh, spike protein, got to get that crap out of here.
Yep.
Now, am I the only one that is pretty disappointed there wasn't like a patient 0 that they took their blood? And are you upset that you weren't immune to it and your blood?
When was the last
cure?
time? I'm just disappointed that Cuba Gooding Jr. hasn't stepped up in this whole thing, Cuba
Yeah.
Gooding Jr., Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
Was that
We really needed those guys to.
outbreak or what was
Yes.
it? Yeah.
So
we need you, Cuba.
I just was hoping. I really was hoping I was the cure. I just thought it'd be cool. It'd be pretty sweet.
Isn't it
That would
usually
be
a
cool.
monkey?
Yeah, that's fine. But I was gonna take it this time. Close to a monkey. like a couple evolutions away, so I'm not too far off. Yeah. So.
Just a couple.
So okay, so we know why how the vaccine works, why we think that it was possible to get it here in this amount of time.
Yeah.
Now, what about I've seen some videos. Jesse sent me a video the other day because he
God.
said, "Oh,
don't make me sound crazy."
well, no, because he wasn't saying, he was just showing, oh, hey, look, this looks funky, and a lot of people are saying that this was a fake shot, and they showed a video, and this nurse or healthcare provider put a syringe needle into somebody's arm, and then kind of just like fumbled around with it, and like didn't actually like press anything out of it, didn't inject anything, and then pulled it out and was like, all right, yay, and everybody claps, and I watched that video the first time. I was like, oh, well, maybe it was just a really tiny dose, because I heard it's only like 30 micrograms of drug needed. But then I watched it again, and there was no injection given.
That's what I'm not even supposed to say, but that's what
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah.
So it looked like, to me, and then to another trained person's eyes who does it every day, that it was a little funky. Now, I thought it was more funky the way they pulled in and pulled out, but I was told you do that a lot of times to make sure you didn't hit a.
Right.
You're trying to suck and see if you got something.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was told.
Yeah, you're trying to get.
Yeah. So
flash
I
to see
didn't
it.
know what.
So let me ask you a
that
question.
wasn't the sketchy part. The sketchy part is that you didn't see any fluid leave the needle.
Yeah.
But I thought it looked like they were fumbling around too. I was like, why are you doing this? Like, I've never seen that. And it's like, well, some people, I guess, do it. Not all. I guess it's like just like people have their quirk. Some people do it to make sure if they can get like blood back or something.
Right.
If you
to
get
make
blood
sure-
back, it's called flash, and that means
Yeah.
you're in a vessel and you don't want to.
Right. Yeah. You're trying to find the muscle and not the vessel.
Yeah.
Right. That's what.
Yeah.
So I guess that wasn't the weird part. It was
Yeah.
the not seeing any fluid leave, and the camera's like shoot, like zoom, and they don't zoom in. And it's the same way on I don't know if you've seen Pence get it, but
Yeah.
they weren't getting. They're not getting close. So it's like just like prove to the people
Well, it's
that
still
it's
a pandemic.
happening. Well, prove to people it's happening. Zoom the camera in.
But if
You
they
know?
want
Well,
to shice everybody, why don't
so
they
let
just
me-
inject saline?
Yes. 100% yes.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
let me ask you both a question. Put yourself in this position for a second, and I'm just giving a possible explanation. All right. So I'm not saying this is what actually happened. This is all simulation. But let's say that you are, CBS is here. They're here. He's going to give you the vaccine, and they're going to film it, and they're going to show it on the news, and they want, whatever, right? It's a big moment, and you're on it, and they're like, all right, you ready? And you're like, yep. And the camera's rolling, and you look down and you realize, oh shit, I forgot to put the stuff in the syringe, but I'm on live TV. What do you do?
You put the
How
stuff in the syringe
would
and
they
you give them the
forget?
shot.
Because you draw
What if they
it
just
up.
what if they just didn't have it ready to go and they forgot that they didn't get it ready to go, and then they're there and they didn't have a syringe that had this, or even like forget, maybe they didn't forget, but maybe they're like, no, we have to do it now. Just do it. Like just like we have to do it. Like we don't have time for you to like fiddle around with a vial.
Because it's a live spot on TV. you're
Yes.
saying.
Yes.
I would
What do you
say
do? What do you do?
you give the public faith and show the entire process, because that's why you're doing this. You're doing this.
You
to
only got 10
give faith.
seconds.
But you have
No, you have way more.
No, you have
integrity.
10 seconds.
No,
You have to have
yeah.
integrity as a medical provider doing that. You can't just like, oh,
Yeah.
let's jab them to
Yeah.
make it look. You
I would
have to
say-
be like, listen, we have to do it the right way.
It was a big. They
Well,
There was
do you get
that
what I'm
video I
saying?
sent
I
you
do.
was a-
Do you get what I'm
there was
getting
a lot
at?
of-
Do you understand
kinda.
what I'm getting at? Is that maybe the guy was like, all right, we'll vaccinate him after. Just stick the needle in so it looks like we did something.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. I would have liked to seen the whole process. It'd make people feel better. Me personally,
Sure.
no, but it would have. Let's see them pull it out of the vial.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's read what's on the vial.
Yeah.
Let's stick it in his arm, even if it is saline and not even. He's already had the vaccine.
Yeah.
Make it look good for everybody. Send him home. And that's not the way. I was
Yeah.
more upset that none of these guys got a pump going before they did this on live TV.
Right.
They're
yeah,
all
that's-
pretty flat
this is-
armed.
this- well, they're
Yeah, if you know you're gonna
politicians.
do
Going.
this, you better do a couple push-ups.
You
with
gotta
the
do some
back.
curls.
You know, you're gonna want to
just
look
grab
big and
grab a
veiny.
gallon of water and just like curl it a few times.
Okay. Anyways, without being a jackass.
So-
Yeah,
So I saw a picture of Nancy Pelosi getting the injection and somebody else as well.
was hers vodka or was it
Probably gin.
gin? Oh, is
Yeah.
that you think she's a gin
Fuck
drinker?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
She does have the gin grin.
Yeah,
You're
she
right. That
does.
makes sense. Yeah, I see.
She
it.
smells like Christmas trees.
Getting sloppy. So I saw this picture of it, and it was a meme, of course, made out of it, and it said, "It helps if you take off the cap," and it showed it up close, like super close up, and it's got the syringe, and then it's got this orange cap at the end of it pushing on her arm. Newby, do you have any explanation for what that could be?
Talking about a cap over the needle.
I'm talking about a cap at the end of the syringe
Sure.
when it's in her arm.
I would have to.
Newby's like,
Yes.
God damn it.
So, yes.
attacking me.
I would have to see a picture of this. to
I'll
see
show you.
Okay, because they do have safety needles where there is this kind of Z-folded device at the base of the needle at the syringe, and as soon as you pull the needle out, you take your finger and you flick that thing up, and it whoosh, covers the whole needle. So that could look like a cap to somebody.
Okay. All right. Does that look right?
No,
No.
that looks like the orange cap that would just be on a standard old-fashioned needle.
I don't believe it, Phil. I wonder, is this photoshopped?
So this other picture is essentially what they said their explanation was for this picture was that they'd given the injection already, and the photographers were like, that's too fast. We need like more time to take the picture. So then he went back down with the cap on it.
That's stupid.
But why would you do that?
That's dumb.
Why not go back down with the cap off?
Well,
I don't
so
believe it.
let me show you another picture.
Yeah, I don't know. Why fake it? Who knows?
I don't understand why you would. It doesn't make any sense to fake
I'm not
it.
even scared of it.
So
I'm
let's look
pretty
at this picture, right?
skeptical a lot of
You-
times.
You see what's going on there?
That's normal. That's fine.
So this is we're back to
The
the
other one
picture
was
of Nancy
photoshopped.
Pelosi. I don't think it was photoshopped.
No, this one looks fine.
See that orange piece there?
Yeah,
That's the same orange piece that they were showing on the other one.
But
This
they-
is just a different split second.
but they didn't show.
This is a split second before that. So this is with it not in her arm,
Right,
and you can see there's a needle there.
right.
And with it in her arm, all you can see is
But yeah, his hand was covering up half of that.
that part.
That
Yeah.
does, without his hand covering up 2/3 of it, it does kind of look like one
Right.
of those safety devices.
So people just do like
Yeah.
a minuscule amount of research before like blowing up these theories that it's not even a real shot. Like
Right.
go and like look for something that maybe disproves
They're
your
not going to
first
fake it
choice.
on everybody. That's the thing. The only one that I seen that looked sketchy. Mike Pence's. If you watch the video, you're like, come on, get close. Let
Oh,
people
yeah.
see.
I saw
And
a
then
still shot
the
from it.
video I sent Phil. But at the same
I
time,
know.
with the video I sent Phil, there's no saying if that's not like cut in certain spots so you can't see the needle being pushed right. Like, who the hell knows? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the problem with the internet. Is like,
Yeah.
well, you don't know what the hell you're really seeing.
Yeah.
So I just sent it to Phil because everyone keeps saying it. And then I see this video and I'm
Well,
like,
it was just so we could talk about it.
this
Yeah.
video's pretty sus if you want to pick one.
Yeah, it was.
It's got some stuff going
It
on.
was, yeah.
But the other ones, I've seen a couple others and they look legit.
Now I researched that video as well, and what they said was they said, oh, maybe he didn't get a full dose, right? Well, so they said that, and then they said that they went back and they gave him the vaccine later to make sure that he got enough.
Interesting.
Huh?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's weird. But and
Well, they said, yeah, we saw the video. You're right. It looks like maybe he didn't get a full dose, so we gave him a full dose. And they said there was no harm in giving
You're
if it was a
extra.
little bit too much.
you are not the only medical professional that said if you're gonna fake something, you're gonna fake it right.
Yes.
And you would use
Yes.
saline solution
Mhm.
and you would
Right.
stab it in people's arms
Yes.
because saline solution's not going to do anything. So
Right.
it's just like, and to me that makes sense. It's like, why
So-
wouldn't, if you were going to fake it, go all the way.
So
and
you
do
thought
it. So yeah.
let's rewind a second though. So you said that you thought what were you saying about faking it on everyone? Did you mean like on us that it would be fake?
No.
Or you meant just on the ones that they're like doing
like
on
it's a big
TV?
scam on TV. Like everyone's
Oh,
getting fake
okay.
doses. I think, you
Yeah.
would see a lot of people getting the real stuff. I imagine if some people were worried about it, it would only be the like big dogs,
Right.
up there. So why would they show it on every single person being faked?
Right.
Like if Trump and Pence and Kamala and Joe and Pelosi don't get it, sure, yeah. But like you're seeing a lot of just like generals and hospital like they're not gonna fake it on everybody. There's
Yeah,
no way in hell.
yeah.
Like it would be a waste of time.
I don't think it's fake. I don't
No.
know what the motivation is.
Right.
Of course, I don't have to understand it for it to be true.
Right.
But I don't understand what the motivation would be for them to fake this
All I know is I'm not excited to get it.
or be malicious about it in any way.
I'm not going to be the first person in line saying stab me with a needle, but I'll get it. When it's readily available and there's not anything,
Yeah.
and you can just walk in without a line. Sure, I'll go get it. Like
Yeah.
I'm not that concerned. My only concern is long term. But there's lots of things, and I think about this a lot, all the time. Of like long term, do we know what anything does? Like So I found out I've lost some night.
I know what death does.
I've lost some, and I don't know what it is in my eye, but the vision to gain light at night.
It's from all that moonshine.
I've lost
Yeah.
it from watching my phone on bright in a dark room. And my eye doctor told me that. Like I had no clue. I didn't think about it. So just doing that, what it does is your eye.
Lets all that blue light in.
Yeah. And it destroys your getting light at night. It's strange, but it's happened to me. Because I told him, I was like, at my one eye can see good, my other one's dark. And he's like, well, which way do you sleep? The one that is open watching your phone or watching something bright. Yeah, it's just like, think about it. Like, we don't know shit about what things do long term. I mean,
Yeah.
anything. We haven't had anything long enough to know the long term. Like, you guys might not be into it, but like the 5G shit, everyone's terrified of that. Like, who knows what
Well,
that
they're
shit
going to use it for mind control.
who knows what that shit does to you in the long term, like the rate, whatever the waves are, whatever anyone's concerned.
I don't.
So who knows? I don't know.
Do you think that there's much chance that the 5G is any worse for you than 4G and FM and AM and every other like frequency that's just
No, I
flying
don't
through
know.
the air
Flying
all
through us all
times?
the time.
I have no damn clue. I don't
Yeah.
know. So it's just one of those things.
And
Who knows what it does?
I don't know. I'm getting maybe like probably sunbursts have or solar flares, whatever. Solar flares probably have more impact on us than your cell phone does.
Oh, there's another one. What the hell does your cell phone do? Do you have it in your hand all the time?
It's not. I can't imagine it's good.
No.
I don't know.
Everybody's worried about getting injected with microchips carrying around their freaking iPhone.
Yeah.
It's like they don't need to inject it.
Yeah, you're right.
You won't go anywhere without it because it gives you dopamine.
Yeah.
You think your phone gives you dopamine?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I've felt some good dopamine in my life.
So
And I've never gotten that from my phone.
Do you look at it?
I feel secure.
Do you look
That's
at your
not
phone?
dopamine. I feel secure and well informed. I guess would be my. I don't get a dopamine feeling from it. I really don't. I don't think I've ever felt that. But I'll tell you what.
I'm not saying that you can feel it. I'm saying it has a psychological effect of you get a dopamine response every time somebody sends you a text message, every time that you get a like on Facebook, every time that your phone alerts you to anything, you get a dopamine response when you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, somebody sent me a message. I'm like, like it's not like a big dopamine response. It's just enough for you to be addicted. And that's why people don't go anywhere without their phone.
See, okay. Yeah, I see. To me, my phone doesn't mean any of that. My thing is I've noticed with a cell phone, without it, a lot of people say they feel naked, but like I feel safe with a phone for the fact that you can, as long as you have a phone, you always have some sort of contact out to someone else. You can always, doesn't matter what happens, you can always reach them, or if they're in trouble, they can reach you. That's my only feeling ever is like, what if I don't have my cell phone and someone needs to call me and I need something, or my business needs something, or my job needs something. Other than that, I guess that's what I feel like without it. So
I've been getting,
but my phone's always dead. Any of my friends watching, they would comment and say,
Newby's getting the dopamine.
My phone is never on. It's dead 9 out of 10 times. So
I was just reading an important email there. I'll tell you guys about off the air.
It's the Ukraine.
It's Ukraine.
Russia.
But no, I've been getting better at not being so stressed without my phone, because since I got T-Mobile, and I love T-Mobile, their plan and their prices are amazing. But down here,
Newby's attacking phone providers.
How much data did you use this month?
In the last 2 days. Sorry, I don't. Can I say it was?
Should you not say it?
Can I say the name of the app that was?
Yeah.
Okay, so Peacock, the new streaming from NBC, they have like a big developing bug, because I'm not the only one that's been having these problems. But I downloaded Peacock for watching TV 2 days ago, and I got a data usage warning on my phone today. It said, "Warning: you've used 41.8 gigabytes of data in 2 days."
Holy shit!
And I looked in my data usage, and like 1.3 gigs was from Netflix, and 38 gigs was from Peacock in 2 days.
Jesus, no.
Yeah. So yeah, beware, people. If you're not on a unlimited plan, don't use Peacock.
Is anyone not on an unlimited plan at this point?
I just switched to unlimited.
Really?
I'm not.
I just switched to
It's like
unlimited.
the
We
same
never had
price.
I have to
right?
check constantly to make sure that I'm not over.
Oh, no way, dude.
Yeah, I
couldn't
check
do
like
it.
every couple weeks.
No.
I'm like, oh, yeah, I used 2 gigabytes. Okay, good.
Yeah. Our last provider we were with for 20 years, and they wouldn't give us unlimited. Well, we
Yeah.
had to pay
I wish I
$20
had
extra per line, and we were already paying $365 a month for just basic coverage. So we switched to T-Mobile, and they have great plans for first responders.
How's your service?
So
I had T-Mobile here when I was in college, and it's hopefully improved since then,
So
because you couldn't get it anywhere.
I have 6 on my plan, maybe 7.
People?
Yep, and there's one in.
We have 6 on ours.
There's one in Rochester. There are 2 in Seneca Falls, and 1 in Philadelphia, and 1 in the city of Rome. They all get 100% perfect coverage.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am, the plan holder down in Penyon, no coverage. Which is getting back to my point. I've been getting
Still no
better.
coverage.
I've been getting better because outside it works, but as soon as I walk into my school building, I just get an X for the signal.
Ugh.
So I'm used to it now. Every day I go.
It's
all
like a
day.
Faraday cage.
You don't
Yeah.
hop on the school's Wi-Fi.
It doesn't allow any communication to come through.
Whoa.
No calls, no text, nothing. So
So you don't have an iPhone.
nobody. I mean, our school network won't allow anybody to do that.
Oh,
But
Huh.
it's basically you can check school email and stuff. But yeah, so yeah, it's total dead zone in the building, and I go 8 hours without my phone. I walk outside at 3:30, and I get like 4 voicemails and 18 text messages pop up.
You ever done a boys trip where you guys all throw your cell phones in a basket and turn it off for 3 days and just leave one on for emergencies?
Never done that.
sounds like a good plan.
Sounds cool.
It's a
Get a burner phone.
yeah.
it's pretty like it's interesting. It's interesting. Like 5 of us guys go out. One of us gets the phone. We give all the significant others the number to that phone and like only emergency. And we just 3-day like camp it out. And we pick like some campground
Sounds awesome.
in the middle of nowhere where you like go and camp yourself. We had to like kayak out to this like island and we camped and did everything. And dude, a couple of those guys were like Jones. But they needed it. They needed that
I
stimulation.
feel good without it. It's the dopamine. They want the dopamine.
Huh.
But I felt I took about a week and a half to 2 weeks in the woods with my brother a few years ago, and obviously no cell phone chargers out there. So I kept it off all day, and I turned it on at night just to check and see if there was anything. And
the cool thing about not having it with you or having it turned off, or in my case, just having it not work inside your work building, it's de-stressing because there's no expectation of communication with somebody.
Yep.
Nobody's expecting you to reply to them. Nobody's expecting you to answer because you can't.
Mm-hmm.
So you just leave it on your desk and say, well, I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I didn't have Facebook until I was 22. So I never had any social media, Twitter, Facebook, none of that until I was like, so to me, all of it was new. Like Facebook still, like, I mean, a lot of people have been on it that I went to school with when they were like 10 on like MySpace or whatever the hell that was.
Yep.
And I never had it. I just never, my parents, we didn't have a computer or internet out in Barrington until I was probably 16 was the first time we had internet out there. So it was like pretty interesting. I was like, oh, I don't do any of that. Everyone's like, oh, what's your Facebook? I'm like, I don't know. I don't have it. So I think I'm not as attached. So.
I didn't have internet until I was 16 because nobody did.
Well, there you guys go. You guys are a little older than I am. So,
We used to did you get the AOL discs? You do the free trial. It's like
we got the
you get a 30-day trial, and the mistake that everybody made was they used like a good screen name, whatever, a good user ID right off the bat. And then after 30 days, they'd get another disc. Their free plan would run out, or their $7 a month plan or whatever. And then they'd have to start a brand new account with a brand new user ID each time, like every like 1 to 3 months to be able to keep the cheap internet.
Every time I got my hands on one of those discs, I don't know, like Alzheimer's patient, I'd run to my mother and be like, look, free internet, we can try it out. And she's like, I keep telling you, the disc doesn't just connect us to the internet. We don't have internet. We don't have a modem.
You didn't? Oh, yeah. I don't know how we had it.
You had to have internet access to use that disc.
I think the phone cable plugged directly into my computer.
Oh.
Because it was dial-up.
Yeah.
The phone cable plugged directly into the computer. So the modem must have been built into the computer.
Must have been, yeah.
And I think that was how they mostly were when I was using it as a child. I don't know, like 12 or 13 maybe. But
do you remember CallWave?
Interesting.
Did you ever use CallWave? That was like,
no.
It was just this little widget that sat in the corner. And previous to that, you dialed up and nobody could call out, nobody could call in.
Yeah.
But then we had this amazing invention, CallWave. And it would ring to the computer, and it was like caller ID. And if it was somebody who needed to talk to you, you'd have to get off the computer.
Oh shit! Really?
And call them back.
It's like
I would have known.
ID.
We never had
caller
that.
ID for the computer.
So cool.
Yeah. Well, because if you were on the internet, nobody could use the phone.
Wow.
And you didn't have cell phones then, so it was like the only.
Yeah.
My parents refused to do dial-up.
I wasn't allowed. You'd only be allowed on for like 30 minutes in case like your grandmother had to call or something.
Not with CallWave. That was
Really?
awesome. That was a great innovation. Because so then my brothers and I would just stay on all day with our instant messenger up, and we just wouldn't turn it off until somebody was trying to call. You know?
That's why I loved school. Was like going to the library.
Or you had to wait till 9 o'clock.
The internet.
Right.
We had to wait till 9 o'clock because free nights and weekends.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that for cell phones.
Yeah.
It was free nights and weekends or discounted rate or something for nights and weekends on landlines. So you'd have to wait till 9 o'clock to use the internet.
So something that I got into a deep conversation about the other night here drinking was, how much do you think, or how long are we until we see some like subsidized, like full on like internet, like just like free
Just like
internet
everybody has
for
it,
everybody? or unless like it'll be by an income bracket. Do you ever see that?
No, I
happening?
don't think that's what's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is Tesla is going to give us like free data or something. And then it's going to
Like
be
he was talking where he's going to put it up in the clouds. So he kept saying like it'll be in the clouds,
In the
and
clouds.
everyone
it's in the
can
cloud.
access.
Yeah.
Everyone
No,
can
but
access it.
no,
He was
I
saying that
really
on Joe
think
Rogan.
it's going to be like a Tesla or you know whatever, like some billionaire is going to just say, okay, we're going to have, or Facebook, right? They're going to say, okay, we're going to stream internet to everybody with our name on it. And they're going to have to go through paywalls.
Yeah.
They're going to have to see ads. Facebook's already doing it and we're paying them to do it.
Mhm.
But like they're going to roll up ads that we're going to have to watch, YouTube, whatever. Like they roll up ads. And so we're maybe eventually not going to be the ones paying for it, but we're going to be,
But we'll pay for it.
we're the product.
Right.
We're gonna be the product. I don't think the government's gonna do it and just be like, oh, it's gonna be
But that's the way it is
like,
with everything.
neutral. It's not gonna be
Right.
no, it's
net neutrality.
it's
No,
gonna
that's
be
gone.
That's
Anyway.
some bullshit there. Net
Yeah.
neutrality was out of control. That was a little different. You're going to have to pay extra for over usage, right? That was one of the things.
that they could let you, that they could.
Yeah.
Right.
It would just make it so that I actually don't think it's a horrible thing if it was, depending on how it's done. They've got certain protections, but not others. So that's the problem. But
Yeah. Just, the conversation came up about income from back in the 80s and 70s, because this is an older guy talking to me compared to now. And he was saying, like, in the 80s, like, minimum wage was like, I don't know. It was like, I don't know.
Couple bucks.
It was like
it wasn't much.
$5 or $6.
Oh,
less than
less
that.
than
Yeah,
that.
I don't know.
Less-
I don't know what
less.
he was saying.
When I
It was-
started working, minimum wage was
But
6.
and the way he
$5.15 when I started working.
the way he explained it to me was a house back then cost like, I don't know. He just threw a number, but like minimum wage doubled, and then the prices of like houses like doubled but tripled. And he's like, and it doesn't make sense, right?
Mm.
Because a house, like, let's say right now, to buy a decent enough house to get into and not have to do any work.
Mhm.
I mean, Phil's been doing this. Let's just say $150,000. Phil, does that sound about
That seems
where you've
reasonable.
seen it going?
Yeah.
Um,
That's for like the baseline house.
and you're talking minimum wage is $12 right now.
It's gonna be, I think it's going to $12.60 on the first.
Right. And he was saying he started a job at this no-name place in 82, and his starting pay was like, I think he said $6.20.
Really?
So in 30 years, and he bought his first house for $52,000.
Yeah.
So in that amount of time, pay's gone up $6 an hour more, and houses have tripled in price. I
My
don't know.
house-
Well,
It's almost impossible.
Wait, hold on a second though. Where did he buy his house?
Here in Penn So.
My house.
Penn has changed.
My house that I grew up in, I remember like my parents had a desk with like Bill's filing system on it right in the center room. And they always had back when you used to write checks. Actually, I still write checks. People make fun of me for it.
You have to write
But
checks to pay your car note. don't
they,
you?
uh,
I have to.
No.
The checks get stamped and cleared and returned. Now they just email you the images, but they kept the returned check from when they purchased their house. And I
You're
remember
not a
seeing it.
business owner if you don't have a
Right,
checkbook, because that's how you have to pay
But,
everybody.
Anyway,
Yeah.
my point is I could, I used to see that check all the time. It's the check they wrote for the house. It was $38,000 for our house.
Yeah.
Big 2-story out in the country.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the way I've heard a bunch of people say it's unfair, there's no way we can live, but listening to that guy talk about money and how cheap everything was and how the prices don't even correlate compared to the money everyone's making is insane. But then I was thinking, I downloaded this app not too long ago. And what you do is in the app, you put down everything you have a subscription to, or that, like Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, everything. And I didn't know, because I'm not one of those people that checks my bank account. Like, I subscribe to something, I enjoy it. I don't think about it, because to me it's just like it's just there, I can afford it. I make sure I can. But you put the numbers in about everything you're subscribed to, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
There was things that I forgot I was subscribed to.
Yep.
And you can look it up by putting your email in this app,
Oh,
and it shows you like, oh, you have an active subscription for, and I'm like,
wow.
fuck, I've been paying
Jeez.
$12 a month for this for how long? I
Guys,
don't remember.
Listen,
Yeah.
everybody,
It's not
if
good.
you want to help support the podcast, first make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and then I don't know. Let us know.
You can subscribe for free.
You can
pay.
subscribe for free. It's absolutely free. If you
Or
think,
can send a check.
yeah, if you want to send us money, please do to help pay for the monthly subscription for our streaming service and for the equipment and for the website and everything else. You can send it or let us know if you want us to start up like a Venmo or a Patreon or something.
Patreon. Very
Patreon
popular
would be
these days.
cool.
Very
Yeah, everybody's
popular.
got Patreon. We can get like if you want us to like have some swag.
Oh yeah.
If you want to get
yeah.
like an It's Rare hoodie or jacket or like one of these sweet bubble vests that matches your t-shirt.
What are you in the Navy?
You're worried about a flood song?
What's that? Back to the Future, right? Doesn't he ask if he's in the Navy? That's what he's like, what are you in the Navy?
You could perhaps purchase a personal appearance by somebody. From the
Yeah,
show.
you don't want to purchase mine.
If you want us to record you a custom message for a birthday
yeah.
or Christmas,
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
if you want
Cameo,
us to
right?
record your answering machine message,
Did
your
you
voicemail,
Did you hear about, you know what Cameo is? Not what an actual Cameo like on TV is, but this program Cameo, where you can pay, if you want to get somebody a gift, like a personal message from a celebrity.
Yeah, famous person. I've
And you
seen
go
those.
you go into this app or on the website or whatever. You choose the celebrity you want, and they have various ones that are signed up to do this program. And you tell them who they're greeting and what you want them to say, or maybe if they want to come up with something of their own. Smokey Robinson did one because apparently this person said that her mother grew up on the same street with Smokey Robinson, and she thought
Cool.
it'd be so cool to get a cameo message from him, and she wanted him to tell her Happy Hanukkah and stuff. And so she sends him the typed message to read, and Smokey Robinson, he did so genuinely. He goes, so and so, I just wanted from me and your daughter to say Happy Chanukah. And then he starts laughing. He goes, I don't really know what Chanukah is, but I hope you have a really happy one. And, and it was so embarrassing. I don't know if it was shtick or but he looked like he meant it.
That's funny as shit.
Don't know what that is, but I
No.
hope you have a happy Chanukah.
if you want to listen to us reading out loud, please, hire us on Cameo.
Yes, I need
There
to
you go.
support all my subscription services. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah. It was $78 a month in subscriptions.
Holy.
Think
Yeah.
about it. Think how easy it is. Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney
have-
Plus.
I only have two of those things.
I have one.
Like and
Sirius XM.
some sports stuff, like YouTube, like so I don't have to watch any stupid ass ads
Oh.
on YouTube.
I pay more for this program than I do for most of that other stuff combined.
Really.
I had never heard of this until I started joining you guys, and it's very cool.
I like it a lot. It works well.
Yeah, we
And
don't.
I can stream up to 10 different locations if I had more locations to stream to. Should we start a private group for the page for our fans?
a
That'd be
Reddit.
fun.
Or
It's rare Reddit. What about an OnlyFans account?
I think that's next. I mean, we got to fund it somehow. We're gonna do OnlyFans. The second episode, we're gonna record 2 episodes every Sunday. The second episode, Jess and I will have our shirts off.
Oh God, Phil will look way better with a shirt off.
I heard of OnlyFans for the first time like maybe a month ago, and I had no idea what it meant. And then I heard it a few more times since then, and each time it sort of became more clear what it was about. And I was like, oh.
It's honestly, some of it's pretty PG and some of it's like crazy. Like I had no clue. Like I heard everyone talk about it. I see all these smoke show chicks like popping up. Check out my OnlyFans. I'm like, oh well, it ain't gonna hurt to click. So I click. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what is OnlyFans? Like, yeah. But the funniest part is there's always those memes like, that girl, the popular girl in high school. I guarantee she has an OnlyFans account right now, begging for money.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Somebody,
long as it
somebody
makes-
will pay $20 to see your feet. It's like some weird
What?
shit. Some
As
weird
long as it
shit.
makes them happy. If anybody wants to see my feet for $20,
Hell yeah.
It's not worth $20. I don't think.
I'll even show you my scar.
I think Marianne said she would.
Scar.
Marianne was interested in doing OnlyFans for her feet.
She said my feet were not ugly. She said that.
She said you had nice feet.
Yeah.
And then, but didn't Marianne say she wanted an OnlyFans account?
I don't think she said that. I don't remember that.
You don't remember? I thought we were all chatting about it.
Flat Marianne should have an OnlyFans account.
Oh my God.
Where is she?
Oh, that might.
Oh my God, Phil! I'm not doing it. I want nothing to do
Are there
with
any-
that.
Are there any cardboard cutout fetishes out there?
Oh,
There's got to
God.
be, right?
Feed the cardboard cutout. Look at Phil. His fucking brain's just going.
Just trying to find a way to finance this.
Oh God,
There you go.
the shit people come up with to make money.
And this, guys, listen. This,
Oh.
if you're listening right now, or anytime in the future, this is for you. Like,
Yeah.
this is this is for you guys. Like, this is labor of love,
Selfless operation.
and
Phil's put a lot of money and time into this whole situation. I'll tell you.
so yeah. So if
It's
you,
fun as hell, though. It's cool.
if there's
With-
something that you
without-
want us to do that you think would be fun, if you want us to talk about something, just let us know. If you want to come on, let us know.
Zero guaranteed income just to do it.
Right.
So-
yeah. There you go.
Just to have fun for everyone.
Zero
Chat. and-
zero guaranteed income, but guaranteed zero income as
Big-
well.
Big red number on the
Yeah. Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
bottom line. And now I think it's time to go finish this wassail elsewhere.
All right.
Cool. Sounds
Far
good.
out.
Thanks everybody for watching or listening.
Bye.
We'll see you next week.